Hi everybody. In this video, we are going to learn about something called transitivity. Transitivity is a type of relationship between the things in a set. John Urschel, who you learned about earlier, has a neat illustration of transitivity using football in the January 8, 2015 issue of the Players Tribune. Before we look at his example though, let's look at a simpler example of how transitivity works. A transitive relationship between three objects means that if the relationship holds between the first and second object, and also between the second and third object, then it has to hold between the first and third object. So, for example, if we take the numbers 2, 7, and 9, and we know that 2 is less than 7, and 7 is less than 9, then 2 also has to be less than 9. We call this the transitive property of inequality. This might seem kind of obvious, and perhaps you're wondering why we even have a name for it. It gets more interesting, though, when we look at sets where it is not obvious whether or not the transitive property holds. Using numbers is just a way to give a clear and simple illustration of how it works. John Urschel gives us a fun example. If you take three teams in a football division, and you know that Team A beat Team B, and Team B beat Team C, do you know that Team A will definitely beat Team C? Of course, you know that this will not always happen, but does it happen sometimes? How often? That is, how often do we observe that the set of teams in an NFL division exhibit the transitive property? Here is a task to get you started exploring transitivity. You will be given a list of all the games played within the NFC East in the 2017 season. Each pair of teams plays two games, one at the stadium of each team in the pair. Start by representing the relationship between each pair of teams. If the Giants win both games against the Cowboys, for example, you would represent that with New York is greater than Dallas, or you could say Dallas is less than New York. If the Giants win one game against the Cowboys and lose the other game against them, then you would represent that with New York equals Dallas. Then start checking the relationships to see if there is an example where the transitive property does not hold. For example, if Philadelphia is greater than New York, and New York is greater than Dallas, but Philadelphia equals Dallas or Philadelphia is less than Dallas, that would violate transitivity. Another example where transitivity would be violated might be if Philadelphia equals New York and New York equals Dallas, but Philadelphia is greater than Dallas. Dig in and see what you find. Good luck and have fun with it.